What's up, gang? Dead Girl here. Tonight we're heading out to our final haunt of the season. I'm a little sad about it because Halloween and haunt season is my all-time favorite. So tonight we're heading out to check out our friends over at A Petrified Forest. JD, the amazing husband, is coming with me as always, and we're meeting up with some friends of ours, John and Eric. Our other friends, Jonathan, Crystal, and Daniel, all work out there. Oh, and Lars, so I'm really excited to get to see them in their element and doing their thing. They've got 3 new trails this year. They've got the Camp Carver is one of them. They've also got the Haunted House. And then for their 3rd trail this year, they have the Dark Forest. So I'm really excited to get to check out these new trails this year. Come with me. Let's head on over to Petrified Forest. All right, guys. We are getting ready to enter the entranceway for Petrified Forest. You had to buy all of your tickets in advance this year, which is new. You get a designated time slot. They require masks. They've got some characters out in the line, looks like. There's their little enter here sign. So, it should be a fun night. It's usually fun out here at Petrified. We're excited. Let's get in line. So they've got some characters working the line. Some friends of ours. I don't know. I guess we just get to go. So they're doing their thing. Got some stilt walkers, got sliders. I love the cattle prod thing. That's kind of new this year. So just to show you guys, 3 trail tickets are $27. They have a VIP at $39 plus tax. It's running this weekend, and that's about it. But yeah, we're checking in, getting our tickets, and we're gonna head on in and have some fun tonight. So things are a little different here at Petrified this year. They've got the lines spread out really good. It looks like they're directing us on where to go. It is super dark, so my apologies. We're gonna check it out. So we're in the line ride. It's outside, it's dark. Apologies for lack of light. But one of our character friends here is checking out. Messing with people. She looks fantastic. So there's one facade. Here's the second one. Just to show you guys, they're spacing everybody out, giving you the rules. You get hand sand before you go into every house, just as an FYI. Keep that in mind. Also keep your masks on, covering your nose and your mouth. But if you can, head on out and check out Petrified Forest. It's always a lot of fun out here. We always have a great time. I'm really excited. Whoa, it's a dragon. By the way, his name is Scat, just so you guys know. I like that. We're getting ready to check this out. So our first house was the Dark Forest. It was super long. They've added a lot of new elements. A lot of fun. Very excited to see what they do with the rest of the houses. Next up, we're going into the haunted house. So our Camp Carver is the very last house that we're getting ready to go into tonight here at Petrified Forest. So as always, they've got a fun merch booth set up here at Petrified. So here's some goodies that you guys can snag. They've got some shirts, 15 to 20 bucks right here. And then they've got the awesome hearse. Cool. Which is always beautiful. So this is their amazing hearse out here at Petrified Forest. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm in love with her. She's beautiful, and she's a great photo op for friends. So yeah, we've had a great time out here. We'll give you guys a few reviews once we get home because it is raining at the moment. So we'll chat with you guys in a minute. And we are home from a fun night at Petrified Forest. Wow. First of all, great job, everybody. We had such a good time. It's definitely different this year with COVID coming into play. The setup was different. You did have to purchase your tickets in advance. They gave you time slots that you could pick from. And then when you showed up, you got in line. They did the temperature checks. They had characters out front kind of terrifying everybody in the crowd, which was a lot of fun to kind of amp you up before you went in. Then you would pick up your tickets, and then you would kind of head out to that midway area, which looks a lot different this year than it did in years past, didn't it?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't want to go to this. We had a couple friends that hit us up and asked us if we wanted to join them out there. And had they not invited us, I wouldn't have gone. We went a few years ago. It's probably been at least 2 or 3 years. Last time we went, it just wasn't as polished and the storylines weren't as complete, and it just didn't feel as engaging as a lot of its competition. So if you were going to spend money, because there was such really great competition with Shallow Grave, with Trail of Terror, with all the other haunts that were going on, they just didn't match up back then. So it was one of those things where I was like, well, all right, we'll check it out. Our friends want to go. We love our friends. Plus, we had a couple friends that were working out there that we know, and we were like, all right, we really want to see them as well, so let's try it. And yeah, I was completely blown away. I mean, I can't even compare it to what it was 3 or 4 years ago. It's not the same beast at all. And whereas Petrified Forest many years ago used to recycle a lot of the sets, they did a complete breakdown and build back. You won't recognize anything from the previous years, except for maybe a school bus, which is minor. And I mean, I would reuse that again year after year myself.
Yeah, the school bus is awesome.
Wow. I mean, just wow.
They did a great job. It was one of the haunts that I did want to hit. I wasn't sure if we were going to this year, just because, number one, it took them a while to figure out if they were actually going to happen, and I totally get it, and we had already kind of planned out what we were doing, so we didn't factor them in. So like JD said, when our friends hit us up and they were like, let's go, I was like, yes, of course, let's go. But to JD's point, it was very different from the last time that we went. We had fun the last time, but it wasn't, it didn't blow me away. This year, they've upped their game, they've upped the trails, they've upped the character interaction. The midway area is still there, although it's not the same as what we're used to, because
so happy.
Yeah, it was nice. And I honestly, Petrified, you guys, I hope that you continue to do what you did last year on the go forward. I like the fact that you have it set up to where, you know, you immediately get in line for one house, you come out, you get in line for the next house, you go through, you come out, and you're in line for the next. So it kind of made things run smoothly. You were able to get in and out fairly, you know, quickly. And they were hand sanitizing everybody before they even went into the houses. The houses themselves were phenomenal.
Yeah, before we get into the houses, the fact that there was no loitering was really, really nice. The last time we went, there were a lot of tweens that were hanging out, and it kind of like seemed like it was a spot where the parents were kind of dropping them off so they could all congregate, which is fine. But when you have, you know, 200 teens, 300 teens that are all packed together and running around and yelling and screaming and hollering, you start feeling like an old person. You're like, oh.
We are kind of old, though.
Yeah,
but we are kind of old.
But this was controlled. This, they actually had all of the free space roped off so that you couldn't just stand around and wait to get in. They had a few vendors out there, I believe. Well,
they were out there selling T-shirts like they normally do, so you could get your 13 years of fear. By the way, congratulations, Petrified, 13 years. It's awesome. Yeah. Lucky 13.
Heck yeah. They had the DJ as well.
They had a DJ out there. They did have a food truck, so you could get some numbs. They had the bathrooms. They had the hearse out there, which is always a great photo op, as you guys saw. So it was kind of nice. I understand the want and the need for a midway area so that people can kind of hang out and congregate, and the fact that COVID happened this year and they had to kind of eliminate that there because it's not a very huge area for people, and that and the controlled timing and the way that they had the line set up, I really enjoyed the way that they had it set up. It felt very comfortable and you were able to go through things easier. So it was something that I thoroughly enjoyed this year, which was definitely different.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it kind of reminded me of Halloween Horror Nights when you get there early and you're able to hit the 3 houses in a row.
Yes.
That's kind of what it felt like. We got there at, 8:30?
Our time slot was 8:30.
Talked with our friends a little bit before we went in. Once we were inside, we proceeded to the first section, and we were in the vehicle getting ready to leave by 9:30. So it was a full hour of haunts.
Which was great.
Yeah, and there was no wait, which was wonderful. I mean, you may wait a few minutes before you get in. but it was quick.
But keep in mind too, is tonight is a Thursday.
True.
So normally when you go on the weekends, it's going to be a lot more crowded. There's going to be a lot more people on a Friday, Saturday night. So next year, if you're planning to visit Petrified, definitely I would say hit them up if they're doing a Wednesday, Thursday again. Otherwise, Friday and Saturdays are great still, but it's a lot more crowded because, people are off work, people are out of school. So of course they're going to tend to hit these haunts up, which I think is still, phenomenal. Something I would recommend, definitely do it. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time. And like I said, the houses are phenomenal.
Yeah, what do you think of Dark Forest?
The Dark Forest was so much fun. They had a lot of really fun elements in that particular house that were unexpected, that were, for us, they're like a pleasant surprise. For other people who aren't very, who are kind of scaredy cats, it's probably not such a pleasant surprise. But for me, it was very cool. The scenic was fun. I like the fact that you're immersed in the woods. There were just a lot of different elements in that particular house that were it for me. And I mean, they've got people on bungees, which is always a favorite of mine. I love when somebody comes flying at me and then bounces back. It's always so much fun.
Yeah, there were trained actors in the house.
Yes.
That's something you don't get at a lot of haunts. At a lot of haunts, because they're volunteers, you're normally getting young kids that are maybe their first time haunting, and they're struggling to scare, or their only go-to is to yell and holler at you.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessary here. Like you said, with the people that were in the bungees and the zip lines, you've got to be trained to be able to do that and to do it successfully without hurting yourself or somebody else. The environmental scares that they had in there were
so
absolutely
good.
Fantastic.
So good.
And again, it was just all in the movements. There wasn't a lot of loud noises to startle you. Right. It wasn't the startle scare. It was the static scare where you're in the dark, you're creeping around, and all of a sudden this monster's coming at you.
Or following you.
Yes.
Those are always my favorite, when you get someone that decides to follow you a little bit through the trail and you kind of turn and you catch them out of the corner. That scare is so much fun.
And all the props were working as well.
Yes.
That was one of the things I remember last time we were at Petrified Forest. They had some broken props. That kind of takes you out of the moment when you go through. Everything was working.
Yes.
They weren't huge, lavish props, which wasn't necessary.
It didn't need to be.
There was enough actors that they didn't have to fill dead space with large pieces of things. Yeah. It was really neat. So yeah, Dark Forest out of the three, honestly, was my favorite as far as walking through.
Okay.
It had the best feel to it as far as going through, because you were going through the terrain. You were going on step-ups. Did they have the lasers in there, or was it in the next one?
That was in the Funhouse.
Was it the Funhouse that had the lasers? Okay.
So the second trail that they had was the Funhouse, and it was very old school. Like, go to a carnival and you see this, it's always shady. Carnival fun houses have this shady feel to it, and I absolutely adore it. That's kind of what the house had. The facade had that fun, some of the drawing was like a little cartoony, a little kitty, which was great. But then when you walked in, it brought you back to that creepy carnival fun house, which was really cool. And they had a lot of really, really awesome elements in that house.
I would have loved if they'd have taken that haunted house, the front of that, and made that a t-shirt.
that would have been
design
cool.
would look really cool on a t-shirt, because it was done really well. I didn't notice until after we had gotten out of the house and started looking at my pictures that there were bones around the archway all the way around before you went into the fun house.
Yeah.
All the pictures were very old school, vintagey style, which looked really cool. When you walk in, though, you're thinking fun house. Well, it said haunted house. So you're thinking a haunted house from the Midway, where you walk in and immediately it's mirrors, immediately it says. It wasn't. You were actually walking to the fun house.
Yes.
So you got to walk around some of the sideshow performers.
Which was fun.
Which was really neat. So it was like you were back in the woods going to the fun house. Once you got into the fun house, they did a lot of really fun tricks to make it give you the effect of being in that funhouse environment. It was fun all the way through, and it was a good concept, and it was executed well.
Yes. Actors in all three houses were on point. You guys were amazing. Such good energy and such great scares. There were so many elements with that house that I enjoyed. Like, you went through this whole little gaming area where they had the ring toss set up. That was fun. They had a mirrored area, which was phenomenal. A lot of different other sections, which were really cool. I'm not going to give any more away, but it was awesome. The last house that we went through is my personal favorite, and that was Camp Carver. That house was very like 70s camp counselor, like slasher movie.
Oh yeah, it was like
house.
You were being brought up to Crystal Lake.
Yes, that's what it was, very, very reminiscent of.
Without the Jason mask, because they had their own killer, and he was awesome. Again, it was a really fun concept that they played with and executed really well.
Yes.
And it transformed or transferred you out into where you felt like you were literally out at a summer camp.
Oh yeah, you would go through the different cabins. At one point you go through some bunks. So there were some bunk beds on either side of you. There was a couple of girls having like a conversation about, you know, making out with their boyfriend and the other cute counselors. Oh, Billy. So that was fun. Then you went through, like, there was a shower room scene, which is awesome. Some of the lines in that house that the actors were spouting off were some of my absolute favorite. And a lot of it, you know, they came up with on their own, which we found out after, you know, we had gone through, which I think is really cool. And it was just a groovy house.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And there were a lot of advanced scare techniques that they're doing inside of those areas, which is really nice to see. Because, again, your first year people are going to run up and boo and try to scare you. The houses that were at Petrified Forest were using misdirection, which is something that's big in the larger, bigger, expensive places, corporate places.
Yes.
And if you do misdirection well, you can scare the crap out of somebody that normally wouldn't get scared, because it's literally in your face. And they had a lot of really good visual points that you would look at and you're, oh, look at that. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere. Boom. And again, it's not just somebody beating on a steel drum.
Right.
They got you. Which is a lot of fun if it's done right, and they did it right.
They did a great job. So yeah, you would walk through these different scenes like you're at camp, and then it took you kind of out of the camp a little bit to where they were having like a movie night, so you go through that scene. Then there were some additional scenes that you would go through. And it was, execution was phenomenal. I know you guys normally get a lot longer to build out your houses and to build out your scenes, and you didn't have as long because of, you know, COVID, and I understand, you know, waiting to figure out what was going to happen if you guys were going to open, but damn good job, Petrified Forest. You guys are like, you went up a lot in my book. We'll say that.
After seeing that screen in Camp Carver, oh my God, I want to drive in movie theater now if they're watching monster movies.
Oh, that would be really so much
cool
fun.
If they could just give us one big screen and play, you know, 30 minutes of a monster movie or something like that, where you can just kind of chill. That'd be neat. But yeah, comparatively speaking to where they were at before and where they're at now, yeah, wow. I'm really glad that, and again, thank you, John and Eric, for inviting us out.
Yes.
We had a blast hanging with you guys as always.
Our friends from Bad Moon Effects, check them out. Yes, by the way,
Bad
they
Moon
do
Effects are amazing.
Amazing stuff. They're on Etsy, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure that you follow them and check out their work. It's awesome. And
they do commissions as well. Yes. So if you've got something you're dreaming up you want created, they are definitely the boys to talk to.
Yes, and they're affordable, and their work is like top-notch work.
Definitely. So to be able to be invited out to something like this, to see our friends that were out there, Daniel, Crystal, and Jonathan, to go through that whole experience that we went through tonight in an hour, to pack all of that into an hour was amazing. I mean, that was speed haunting, and it was perfect.
It was so good. And I mean, again, you know, if you guys are going on a weekend, it's going to be a lot different because it's going to be busier.
Of course.
So my recommendation is,
we're just bragging about a Thursday.
Yeah, if you can hit it on a Thursday, they're open. Do the Thursday. It's totally worth it. But yeah, as you guys saw from the video, I wasn't able to get a whole lot of footage because everything was moving so smoothly and so quickly. We didn't really have a lot of wait time between the different houses, which was great. And that's with them pulsing you through, by the way.
Yeah.
So you weren't just going in like a conga line through. They were pulsing per your group. They were waiting at least a good 30 to 60 seconds before they would send the next group in. At least that's what I'm estimating.
Yeah, and then sanitizing everybody. They had sanitizers out there.
Yep.
It wasn't the weird, stingy, smelly, sticky,
it was good,
slimy.
Sanny.
It worked well. My hands are kind of soft, which is kind of nice.
Yes.
So they're not using the cheap stuff.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah, Yeah, it was definitely cool. There are very few haunted houses this year that I can honestly say I'd want to go back to again. This is up there. I would definitely take people back out. I would love to see other folks get scared, because that's our favorite thing to do. If you're ever with us and we put you in the front of the line,
it's because we want to see your reaction.
We don't want them to waste the scares on us, because a lot of times we're not going to jump, we're not going to get scared. So we love to see people that can actually have that moment of, oh my God, what's happening in front of us, because it gives us joy. Plus, we get to see the scenic a little closer while we're back there.
Exactly. And I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of sad that we didn't go earlier in the season to check it out, because now Halloween's in 2 days. And again, it's something that I would love to do again during the week, just because it's less crowded. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do it again this year, and I'm a little sad about that. So next year, we're going to make sure that we pen in enough time so that we can go at least twice, because it's also one of the haunts that's very close to home,
right? Which
is a great appeal, for us logistically. So it's something that we can do multiple times because of how close it is.
And it's an independent haunt, which is awesome.
Yes.
The corporations don't need your money. These small haunts do. They're the only way that they can keep coming back year after year after year.
Yeah.
So definitely next year we're planning on going back. If you have time, I don't know when we're putting this video up.
I'll probably try to put it up tomorrow, which is going to be Friday. So I'm not 100% sure if they're running Halloween.
I believe they are.
I'm pretty sure that they are.
I think Halloween may be the last night. So
I know you're probably not going to be able to hit it this weekend, but if not, if you can, do it, buy your tickets and go, because it's phenomenal. Trust me, it's well worth it. But if you can't, make sure that you pen that on your schedule for next year. Like we're in.
Oh yeah, we're in totally.
So to our friends John and Eric, thank you for inviting us out. To everybody at Petrified Forest, thank you guys for kicking it up a notch, for giving us such a great experience, and for making us want to come back. It takes a lot for us to want to do a haunt a second time.
Definitely.
Like, let's be real about that. There's maybe 2 that I can count on that we've wanted to do twice or have done twice. So it's not many, and we've done quite a few haunts, here locally in Florida. So thank you guys so much for all your hard work out there, Petrified. You guys have done a phenomenal job. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with next year. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate everybody out there. To all my new subscribers, welcome. Thank you guys so much. To anybody that's not subscribed, dude, hit the button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications for when I post new videos. I typically try to post new stuff every Wednesday. During haunt season, of course, you guys get a little bit more because we're doing a lot more stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep it spooky.